is going to be a significant player, and he's going to be up for a contract this summer, a significant contract. So the Raptors are trying to see who's going to come up with the best offer. I'm told Lowry's preferred spot right now is the Miami Heat. There's an hour left here before the trade deadline ends.
All right, Shams, how did all of these deals for the Orlando Magic materialize? They've been very busy before the trade deadline expires.
Yeah, so the Magic are clearly going a certain direction. They're going into a full-on rebuild. They trade Nikola Vucevic to the Chicago Bulls, Aaron Gordon to the Denver Nuggets. So this is a group, as well as Evan Fournier, to the Boston Celtics. So this is a group that's clearly going in a rebuilding direction, trying to attain draft assets, young players that they can build on for the future. This is a full-blown a sell day. And another player to watch in the next hour, Terrence Ross. I think there's a very significant chance he could be dealt between now and the 3 p.m. Eastern deadline.
Shams, we appreciate the info as always. And fellas, let's jump into what Shams just reported about what's going on with the Lakers and possibly the moves that they're making and could continue to make. But Kyle Lowry, that's the name that we've heard a lot about. What are your thoughts on what Shams said about Lowry and what his future could be?
I'd like to move to either team, to the Lakers or Miami. I think it helps both of them continue with their championship aspirations. Kyle's a proven winner, proven leader in his league. And for him to join the likes of the organizations, Miami Heat and or the Lakers, and have a chance to play with LeBron, I like it. I like the moves. Unfortunately, his time in Toronto has ran its course. He's been the ultimate pro there. He's been the ultimate winner, ultimate teammate. But, hey, he's moving on to bigger and better things probably. And we'll see where he lands, man. It's going to be a good spot either way.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting story because when you're talking about contenders, Kyle Lowry is not going to go to a team where he's not going to be competing for a championship. But it becomes very difficult for those teams when you get to free agency to sign a player like him because those teams aren't going to have cap space. So if a team like the Lakers or a team like Philadelphia wants him right now, they have to go and make moves and bring him in right now at the trade deadline so he can not only help them this year in a championship run, but Kyle Lowry's not done. I mean, he's going to play a couple more years, and this is a way for those teams to lock him in for another couple years and keep that championship window open for him.
The great thing about Kyle Lowry is his consistency that he's been able to maintain throughout his time, especially in Toronto. But let's switch conferences and go to the East and focus in on Miami. We talked about Kyle Lowry possibly going to the Lakers, but now with Miami and a guy that's had his ups and downs from the guard spot, and Tyler Hero with potentially moving. Pat, where do you see potentially him going, and what could Miami get for him? Because we've heard the names of Victor Oladipo and a couple of other guys.
Yeah, well, I think if Tyler Hero is going to move at the deadline here, it's going to be in a Kyle Lowry deal. It's not going to be for a deal that pays off a couple of years down the road. It's because they want to be competitive now and potentially try to get in another Eastern Conference Finals this year and next year. And look, I think with him and Jimmy Butler together, I mean that's a great backcourt. That's a lot of scoring. Kyle Lowry
and toughness.
Kyle Lowry for his age is still a terrific defender in the backcourt just because of his basketball IQ and his awareness and anticipation of what's going to happen. So I think for a team like that, obviously he would help them a lot. I just don't know if it moves the needle from where they are right now to all of a sudden championship contender. I think if you're talking about a team like Philly or obviously the Lakers, though, I think there's a strong case to be made that it does.
If Larry Kenyon is put in that situation with Miami and he's being added to a Jimmy Butler and a Bam Adebayo, you've been on teams with New Jersey and also in Denver where you've got guys that have been there, done that, right? Have had long runs to the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, and even NBA Finals. So when you're a veteran and you add another guy or piece like Kyle Lowry, how does that make you feel with a guy coming into that situation of how maybe potentially the future gets brighter for you guys?
I take the situation like we had in Denver. We had Allen Iverson and we traded for Chauncey Billups. Now, we had a good team with AI, but when Chauncey came, I think it made us a championship contender because what he brought to the table, his IQ, his winning pedigree, same as Kyle. I think he brings to the table in the Miami situation, coming to a team that's pretty much already pretty much established, but you had a cornerstone piece like that that's been there, can make the guys in the locker room better, team better. I like it.
All right, another situation that happened is right here in Chicago where we are, Stadium Studios. Nikola Vucevic is now a Chicago Bull. Orlando did a lot of dealing, as Shams mentioned at the top of our show, and we touched on. And now he brings his 24-point and 11 rebound per game average to the Windy City. And this is a guy that has been at the forefront when you think about the bigs in the NBA that have been so consistent throughout his time at that position.
The Pack fighting in that tough Western Conference.
Well, I've been screaming all year long that Jokic needed help, and the front office of the Denver Nuggets did just that. Going out and getting JaVale McGee was huge. I know people don't realize it, but that's a live threat. After losing Plumlee in the offseason to the Pistons, you got JaVale McGee, who you could actually play alongside of Jokic, because Jokic's ability, being able to pop to the three-point line, and JaVale McGee being a live threat, this was a great addition for them. Also, getting Aaron Gordon, a guy that I thought the Celtics should have got. I feel sorry for your loss, Danny Ainge, but this is a guy that also plays well without the ball. A guy with great length on the wing position that could possibly match up with a LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard. Remember, the Nuggets lost a key piece in Jeremy Grant this offseason. So getting Aaron Gordon was huge for them and JaVale McGee. The Nuggets took a tremendous leap at this trade deadline.
And JaVale McGee, always that big presence inside, only averaging about 8 points this season, but still getting it done at 33 years old. So we'll see what happens with Denver, as they've been trying to compete with the top of the West there. We'll see what this does for them and if they're even done. Much more from Perk on The Jump, the trade deadline special. That's right after us here at 2 Eastern on ESPN. Thank you, Kendrick.
And bring in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, joining us now. So 3 p.m. trade deadline quickly approaching. What more can you tell us about why the Magic all of a sudden are making these changes to their roster?
Well, the Magic, Matt, they're headed toward a rebuild. They've traded, their best player, Nikola Vucevic, to the Bulls and getting the 2021-23 first-round picks. And, of course, the Evan Fournier deal to the Celtics. And then now on deck, and you can expect he'll be traded also today, Aaron Gordon, their starting forward. They've been in negotiations with a number of teams, including Boston, Denver, Minnesota, and others. And you would expect that they'll get back at least a first-round pick and perhaps even a combination of another good young player. And so now you see the framework in Orlando as they start to reshape this franchise. But for the Bulls, listen, that is a major, significant pickup for Arturas Karnisovas. Their president, Vucevic, is certainly somebody that can be a cornerstone player for Chicago. I think Chicago has some more deals than them also today.
Yeah, well, today's fascinating because we really get a sense as we make a playoff push who the buyers and sellers are. We've certainly seen the buyers and the Bulls making a big move, and now the Magic will wait and see what happens with Aaron Gordon, who has requested to be traded. The other big name on the market, the score, said enough. Raptors 135-111 to beat the Nuggets. However, the lingering question in the locker room, was that it for perhaps the greatest player in franchise history for the Raptors and Kyle Lowry? Oh, by the way, happy 35th birthday. Lowry took questions for more than 20 minutes, telling the media that it was different for sure with regards to the feeling of last night's game. Now, Lowry, along with Norman Powell, are rumored to be on the block. So, Woj, what can you tell us? What's the latest about Kyle Lowry and whether or not he'll be dealt?
Yeah, Masai Ujiri, Toronto's president, is on the phones now. He's talking on multiple fronts for both of those players. I think Kyle Lowry, certainly the Miami Heat. The Lakers have shown interest in Lowry, and Philadelphia remains in the process. Listen, Kyle Lowry is going to have a voice in where he goes here, if he goes. He's earned that in Toronto. Masai and Kyle Lowry have talked in recent days about how this might play out. And Norman Powell, there's a great deal of interest in him. Both those players will be free agents this summer. Would like to sign extensions potentially where they go. But for Toronto, you're going to see this is going to be a transformative day, I think, for this organization. They've got their young core of Siakam, Van Vliet, and Anunoby, and now they may bring back some assets. And, Kyle Lowry is a player, I think, more than anybody else in this trade market that can really impact winning somewhere. Yep. and maybe be able to take a team to another level.
Well, you hit it right there. He could be that final piece to a locker room and a roster to get to a championship this summer. I promise you, if there's breaking news, Woj will be right back with us. Adrian, thank you.
For more, let's keep it going with our NBA analyst, Kendrick Perkins, NBA champion in his day, certainly. And Perk, let's go through some of these players. I want to know what you think about the best fits for the teams that we're talking about potentially being traded. And let's start with the guy who's celebrating his 35th birthday today, Kyle Lowry, because, by the way, nobody has ever been traded on NBA trade deadline day on their actual birthday. It could be Kyle Lowry today. He's been the face of this franchise since 2012. Where do you think he might fit best as we hear the Lakers, the Sixers, the Heat interested?
Well, Sage, I tell you one thing, he's probably going to get a good birthday present. I would love to be in Kyle Lowry's shoes to be able to go back home to the Philadelphia 76ers, going down to South Beach and wiggle my toes in the sand in Miami, or going to L.A. in the sunny weather with LeBron James. And I think the best fit for Kyle Lowry right now is the Los Angeles Lakers. If he was to go to the Lakers would be the heavy favorite. Just imagine him, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. Kyle Lowry is going to take the pressure off LeBron James of being the floor general. We already know what he do offensively as far as getting others involved and being the 20-point